Justin Simmons, released by the Broncos after 8 seasons, hasn't been released yet. Has he been released yet, or he will be released? I think it's one of those will be first day of the league year to spread the cap charge over 2 years. Is that accurate? It might not be. That speaks to the level of preparation. I was too busy looking for pinball repair places in West Virginia. But regardless, he ain't going to be a Bronco anymore. They saved $14.5 million against the cap. He had 1 year left on his contract. And sometimes when you have 1 year left on your contract, you still do the post-June 1 because there's voidable years. So there's still, it's weird. It gets weird. Regardless, they're moving on from Justin Simmons. This one, more of a surprise than Russell Wilson. But the Broncos, we were looking at the numbers yesterday after the Bills had their massive exodus of players to get down close to the cap. Exactly. I was going to let you say it, not me, because then you would have thought I was stealing it from you because I saw it on X from you.
Well,
but
that's what the money is for.
The Broncos also are in a cap mess, in large part because of all the cap dollars they got to eat for Russell Wilson, $85 million over 2 years. So I wonder if they hadn't done the Russell Wilson contract at all, are they able to keep Justin Simmons? That's the real question.
Well, I mean, as my grandpa loves to say, if doesn't really mean anything, right? I mean, that's before they brought in Sean Payton. It's before they figured out that they would do all the things that they were going to do this year anyway. So I don't know about all that. But with Justin Simmons, I mean, the reports out of Denver that I saw yesterday were basically that Sean Payton felt like the Justin Simmons contract was a luxury that the team just could not afford right now. And basically, yeah, that's because of the whole deal with Russell Wilson. And you get rid of him, and yeah, you're trying to spread that cap charge over 2 years or whatever it is. But like, that's still an enormous amount of money that is dedicated to a player that is no longer going to be there. So yeah, you have to retool the roster. You've got to reshape the roster. And it makes it so that really this year, the Broncos might be worse than they were last year, right? Just based on what their roster is going to have to go through in terms of turnover, because they don't want that particular quarterback there anymore. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think whenever you see something like, oh, you'll always be a Bronco to us, Justin Simmons, no relation. First of all, he's not a Bronco anymore, so he will not always be a Bronco. But I guess it's more he'll always be a Bronco to the social media team, and he must have been really good to them. And you don't hear bad things about Justin Simmons, but still, like, that's one of those things where you're like, man, that's kind of lame to say on the day that the guy's getting fired. You'll always be a Bronco. Like, no, you won't, man. Come on.
Well, and the Broncos reposted his farewell address, which thanks a lot of people. It does not thank Sean Payton. You always look for those little subtleties like that. So, and you worked for a couple of different teams. Like, how much of a firewall is there, if any, between social media and the rest of the team? Because some people act like it's this completely independently functioning body that has no influence exerted upon it by the team. And I don't know, maybe that's right. Maybe like the owners, all octogenarians or not much younger, don't even know what's going on social media, so they can say whatever they want and there's never going to be any blowback. But I just assume anything that is said on social media, the team, someone in management is aware of it and is in a position to approve it in advance or disapprove it after it's posted.
For something like this, in my experience, yes, there would be management involved because it's such a high profile player. It's not necessarily that everything is going to go get approved, but like your PR team would be involved in something of this magnitude. So yeah, it's not like the social media team is going to go completely rogue. And every team is different in this way. But yeah, from the experience that I have of working for an internal media team, that's not something that would happen. That you just are completely doing your own thing there because you get notified before, right? So then you have to craft a plan of, okay, this is happening, so how are we going to handle this? And then that sort of in turn gets shown to people on the football side, and they're like, all right, la, la, la. And then it gets posted, and then we all figure things out. Or, the public finds out, 5 to 10 minutes before because the information folks of the world, of ESPN, of NFL Network, etc., they drop the news. And then, oh, by the way, here's the follow-up from the team, and this is actually official now because la, la, la.
And as you've explained before, it's specifically engineered by the team to leak it to one of the national insiders, either somebody who's on the league payroll or somebody who is working for a league partner, as kind of a, and I don't know that you ever finished the thought and we've ever articulated it this way, but obviously it's part of this game of trading favors, right? We'll do this for you. You'll do something for us. You won't criticize us if you have a chance to do it. If we do something stupid, maybe you'll be receptive to our spin on that stupid thing that we did. But that's part of the game that gets played, and that's how you keep the pump primed. Is, you know, hey, we're gonna announce this anyway. And it's funny, were we talking about this yesterday? Like this whole idea of we're going to announce this thing, so we feel compelled to pick someone and tell them about it 5 minutes before. And people act like that's, oh, what a great scoop. They just picked the guy and told him 5 minutes before they told the rest of the world. This isn't Watergate.
That's how you're dropping it to me? That's your going to continue. You start talking about Watergate. I'm like, oh yeah, he's going somewhere with this, man. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's kind of what happens, you know. And I've been involved in things like this, whether it's a big trade or whether it's some move that you're gonna make in terms of, you know, going up or down in the track. Like, there are things that happen where the insiders know first, you know, and they post it, and then, you know, we got told, hey, we're gonna wait a couple minutes and then we'll post it ourselves. Like that, yeah, those kinds of things happen, and I don't know how much of a big deal or not big deal it is, but yeah, everybody's gonna find this thing out eventually, and occasionally you hold things for yourself, and that keeps the folks on the inside that are actually on the team a little bit more satisfied, because the numbers do better when you're the one breaking the news, right? So certain things you get to break it. Maybe it's a minor player a more minor player signing, something like that. But, you know, the big guns, they get fed too. So that, you know, whether it's a criticism or what have you, I don't know. But yeah, those what you're saying happens. Yes.
And the reality is, and this is something Jay Glazer told me years ago, the only real journalism in sports is when we find out something they don't want us to know. Finding out something they're going to announce anyway, either 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 5 days from now, is not journalism. It's just not. It's just an extension of the PR, and it's part of the strategy, the mutual back scratching that happens. That's why I love to find out the stuff that they don't want us to know. Now, they do want us to know Justin Simmons was released yesterday. I'm looking at the official transaction report from the league. He is a former Bronco, even though he will always be a Bronco. He is not a Bronco as of yesterday. He was released, and he's able to sign with anyone. And they kind of did him a favor here, yes, because he gets a little bit of a head start. Not much. They could have done it at any point after the Super Bowl. That's when the window opens, that Monday after. Remember, there were a few transactions today. Mitch Trubisky, one of the ones who was released by the Steelers. For whatever reason, they waited until now to do it. Maybe they didn't make a final decision. Maybe the owner had to sign off on it. Regardless, Justin Simmons gets a chance to get out there and see what's available before everyone else is officially in the pool. Although it's so close to the start of free agency, it's really negligible.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and that's kind of the issue. I mean, he is a great player, right? I mean, this is somebody that flies around on defense, makes plays in the run game, makes plays in the pass game. Honestly, I think no one may be happier to see Justin Simmons leave the Broncos than Patrick Mahomes. That dude has picked off Patrick Mahomes more than anybody else. I think it's 4 times, 5 times, something like that over the course of his career. So, yeah, unless he goes to the Chargers or the Raiders, you know, Patrick Mahomes is going to be very happy to see Justin Simmons leave the AFC West.
This is a prime example of why and how Patrick Mahomes can pick up the phone, call Andy Reid, call Clark Hunt, call Brett Veach, get them all on a conference call. Hey, you know that contract that you gave me that grossly underpays me, that I get about a third of what I'm really worth to this team? Some of that money that you should be giving to me, go get Justin Simmons. I want him. And look, it's a tough balance because, you know, players play, coaches coach, and general managers generally manage. You have to know what your job is, but there is something to be said for understanding who the people are who bedevil you and maybe getting them on your team. if you can. And I would imagine, as you said, Patrick Mahomes, first thought, this is great. Second thought, this could be even better. Maybe we get him here in Kansas City and find a way to work him into our secondary. All due respect to the guys who are already playing there. But yeah, I'd rather have him with me than against me. Okay. By the way, there were 6 total tweets from the Broncos after they announced the release of Justin Simmons. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.